All right, guys, let's get it started. Welcome to Chat the Chief, everybody. Today, we got a good topic. It's like a feel-good topic. We're going to talk about recognition, celebrating people. Our culture is very big on this at Insight Global. We love to recognize people. We love to celebrate people for doing the right things, for behaviors that we like. So let's talk about why it is important to build a culture of recognition with your people. So we'll start with that. Why does recognition matter? Who wants to kick us off?
Steve, why don't you kick us off?
I was going to say you. Man, why does recognition matter?
Yeah.
I think it is the foundation of how we build our culture in a lot of ways. It's like humans have been doing this for a long time, but it's the stories we tell connected to the way that makes people feel and the way that we celebrate folks. It matters because it has a huge impact on how your people are going to show up, how they feel. And then we'll get into this a little deeper, but it also is a central way to create learning in your organization and to teach people what's expected around here. So to me, I think it's the best way to think about how you want to, like, the stories we tell create the cultures we want is what I like to think about. And it's how I build my culture is through the recognition I give, through the praise I give, through the positive storytelling about what's happening in our organization that we want to create more of.
And when I think about recognition, there are ways to do it publicly and privately. So when you think about recognition as a cultural thing, what lens do you think about it through as carrying more weight?
It's a good question. Like when I think about it culturally, like you really can build a culture through the stories you're telling and the way that you're messaging. And like a lot of, like when I'm telling the story about Katie and I'm giving you praise and recognition, I'm signaling to everybody else, like that's important.
Yep.
So like the rings on a tree, like I always think about those moments as like you're building a culture, and you can actually, it's kind of a cool thing that can happen. Like there's times where, especially if you did something, Katie, that's new, unique, that's growth oriented for all of us, like I can tell the story about what you did and I can watch everyone else and I'm like, oh yeah, we just created that
You multiply
ring.
it.
That ring on the cultural tree trunk just grew.
Yep.
And everybody's going to be thinking about that thing, and that's a thing now.
Yep.
Right? So that's there, but then the individual piece is huge. Like the one-on-one lock in with someone to give them praise, like, oh man.
Yeah, I would say
Both.
I would say it is both, but my take on that is whatever is going to be most honest and authentic as for the person that's giving the compliment. So we as humans, I think, have really good BS detectors, and we know when somebody's not being overly authentic. And while public recognition is great, I do it all the time, you know, if somebody's doing it for the benefit of, look at me, I'm praising Katie and wishing that great, you will know that and feel that, and you will actually resent me for that, like instantly, and it will totally backfire.
Yep.
Yes.
And even if I'm not trying to do that, but even if I'm doing it publicly, and because I'm doing it publicly, I'm kind of nervous and it kind of comes out awkward, you're just not going to mean a lot to you. If I can do it in a public way and you know it's from my soul and from my innermost way of how I feel about you, you're going to be moved in that way, in a huge way. I think sometimes why it is more powerful in a private sense is because it's maybe easier to get there as the person that's delivering the recognition, letting you know just how much you mean and just how proud we are and all that kind of stuff really carries a lot. So I really don't think, if I think back in my times I've been recognized, I can't say, oh, it was because it was private or because it was public. It was just because of like the words that person said that carried so much weight. And I don't even remember if it was public or private. But I think recognition is terribly important. It is so important because as people, we want to be seen. Like we want to be seen. And I think when most people go to work, you know, they're going to work, and probably most people are sort of, I hate to say doing the bare minimum, but they're kind of sort of going through the motions. And when those people that can get away with going through the motions and build a whole successful career by going through the motions, when they actually decide to like give a little bit more and really do things the right way, especially do things the right way when they know nobody else is ever seeing it or will ever see it. When we can find those people and recognize those people for giving us their best, that is huge. That is everything. That's when those people say, yeah, I have been giving my best. I have been trying to go that extra mile. And when I can get recognized for that, that's so validating, and I feel so seen in that way. And that's why I think, this is one of the most important things companies can do for their people.
Yeah, Katie, on that really quickly, I do think the medium matters. And this makes me think of my time in New Jersey and certain people, like public recognition is so important for in moments, because if you run 100 miles, you ran 100 miles and you crossed the finish line. If you climb a mountain, you're like standing on the mountaintop. But there's something about public recognition in a team where you get to create that mountaintop for someone and make sure they feel that moment.
The importance of it.
And feel the importance. And like, especially in a team, like, man, it's so hard to get to mountaintops. And, you know, we might take certain things for granted, but like the things that we do are incredible. And just slowing down and making sure that person knows, like, that was hard. And you just did that.
Yeah. Wow. Like, so well said, Steve. And as the leader, you can't miss those moments. And it's unfair because we're all busy around here and it's easy to miss those moments. But I've caught myself in meetings. You guys have probably maybe had the same thing happen where I'll be in a meeting and something will be happening. Maybe we'll like be wrapping up a project or a meeting or something. And it'll hit me like, oh, wait, this is a moment for me to like actually say, hey, time out. I just really want to thank you for everything that you've given to this. Wasn't on the agenda, wasn't supposed to, but I can't miss that moment because this is going to be everything for this person who probably never gets recognized. And the few times that I've caught it and done it, I'm like so thankful that I didn't miss that moment. But way too many times I think we miss those moments because we just get caught up in our day and because we're more focused on our world and instead of somebody else. But that's the sort of burden of the leaders to make sure that you try not to miss those moments.
Well, I love you talk about that as a moment and that's something that you capture in the moment, because one of the things that I do want to talk about on the episode is like creating systems. And I think that we've done a great job of creating awards so that we have systems of making sure that you put on a pedestal what we care about and the behaviors and how we define success and celebrating the people who meet those definitions of success to the best degrees. But then there's that authentic, in the moment, not overly prepared or overly architected or orchestrated moment where it is just stopping. And it's not an overly prepared moment where you are saying, thank you, whether it's for an outcome or an effort. And I think that ironically, that can matter just as much,
100%.
if not more, than on the all-company scripted call where it is, you know, blasted out on a beautiful templatized thing. Like that is carried more weight for me in moments of praise. And I think that that's not uncommon for people to feel like, damn, that was authentic and that felt meaningful to me.
Yeah, and what I love about recognition is it's such a low barrier to entry for the person that is doing the recognizing, even though not a lot of people do it. And I think way too many people come to us from companies that they'll be recognized and they're like, man, I've never been recognized before. And it's because people are afraid to do it for whatever reason, or they don't think to do it. But to what you're saying, Katie, is anybody can recognize somebody, anybody can give praise. And it's like the more awkward, the better. So long as it's from the heart, so long as it's real, the more blurted out, the better. That's if we just to be like, hey, I don't know, this may come out of left field, but Steve, thank you so much for what you've done. And the more real that is, the better. And it doesn't have to sound great. The more real, no matter how it sounds, that the more that recognition is going to hit.
Yeah.
And back to your public versus private, like I think the best leaders are going to find ways to give people recognition before the results.
Yes.
Like they're going to find the input behaviors. And they're going to praise that stuff almost more than they praise like the person standing on the mountaintop. To go a bit against what I said earlier. But I remember this moment. I was a kid. I was at the University of Michigan hockey camp. I was probably 12 and about to go out on the ice. And one of the Michigan hockey camp as a kid was the best because the Michigan hockey players would be the counselors.
Your heroes are just there. Yeah.
And there's this one guy, Dale Rominski, played on Michigan hockey team. And I was standing next to him. And he like came over to me and he's like, hey, Stevie, you looked really good yesterday. He was like, hey, man, have a great practice today. He's like the big guy. And Red Berenson was like this epic hockey, like taught me not to smoke when I was like 8 at this thing. And I was like, I'm never smoking because of that. But Red Berenson's a legend. Talk about like a good person, a great guy, got wins. Anyway, he's like, yeah, the big guy noticed you yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, and then, how do you think I played?
Oh my God.
In their next practice that day? It was the best practice of my life. Of my life.
Yes.
And I think that's something leaders like, oh yeah, like get in the morning and hit your email. Like you have the ability to create that for people. And so
he created belief in you.
He created
like, oh, I belong here.
He created a belief
cool.
in me. Exactly.
And it wasn't forced either.
And
like,
no, yeah. And so I think that's one of the coolest things about that's such a gift of being a leader, is that you have the ability, and not just a leader, anybody could do this, right? Yeah. But like, hey, you looked really good yesterday. Mm-hmm. You know, just don't forget how powerful that could be. Those little little things can sometimes be what people need to like get to the mountaintop.
Yep.
That's what they're talking about 25 years later on a podcast.
I remember to this day.
It's amazing.
I remember the feeling.
Yeah.
We got to find him and tag him.
He's actually a behavioral psychologist now.
That's incredible. I do wonder though, like if the organic moments are spurred from having created a more meaningful and thoughtful culture around things like we should talk about our elite performers and our Titan Awards and our Shared Values Week and our contest trip that do intentionally call out, okay, what behaviors and outcomes are we looking to reward and recognize more formally? Because I would like to think, and maybe this is right or wrong, but there has to be a correlation where at the top, we are creating these systems and formally creating recognition. And then maybe that's why organically you see that more often at the bottom.
I think it helps to create that target-rich environment for praising people and the habits, and this is what this organization does, so it's easier to not miss those things. But I think what really, I mean, just my 2 cents, but what I think, how people that give the best praise, the best recognition, and give it so freely but so honestly are the really confident people that know who they are.
Yeah.
People that are super prideful, that are super insecure, are never out there giving genuine praise, right? Because they're totally self-centered. But the people that know who they are, that are confident in who they are, it's just not that big of a deal to think of themselves second in little moments as you're praising somebody. Every time you praise somebody, every time you give recognition, you are having to think of yourself second. As you are now thinking about Steve as we praise Steve. Somebody that is ego-filled cannot do that. So yeah, it helps to create those systems and that sort of the ways of doing, as Steve likes to say, that we all know that this is what we do here. But by building others up and by creating belief in others and by creating confidence in others, by praising them, then now I just want to turn around and do that to other people that I see, right? Now I feel, and so that's how that goes.
Yeah. Steve, the scientist, I got a couple of questions for you, sir.
Well, it's science.
Why do humans crave recognition? And part 2, what happens when they don't receive it?
Yeah, I got to get a little nerdy on that.
I mean, that's the whole premise.
Why do humans crave recognition? Okay, so we got to go to Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
Sorry.
I shouldn't know.
We got to go to Maslow.
Hey, dude, everything is in Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Maslow is like pretty good.
He's pretty hot.
That has held up pretty freaking solidly.
Yeah.
And then our neurotransmitters. And I'm going to teach you something fun.
Today. Maslow I had.
I'm going to teach you people about dose.
Okay.
So actually, let's just start at Maslow. So why do people need praise? Well, all humans have the same kind of 5 set of basic needs. I won't bore you, but at the bottom, it's like physical security and safety. At the top, it's the need to self-actualize and to feel like the time that you've been here on planet Earth has mattered and that you've done something bigger than yourselves. And there's some others in between you could Google or ask ChatGPT. I think it's actually kind of funny. I could walk into a company and instantly know by talking to people how high they are on Maslow. And how high, like, are their needs being met because they're realizing the value of the work they do every day, or are their needs not being met because that's in some form not happening? And a lot, like I used to think about it a lot as I'd meet an organization because there's kind of like a shape of that. And in some cultures, only certain that right of recognition is only reserved for certain people. Not very everyone matters, right? And so anyway, the reason why it matters, Katie, is because we're better when we're higher on Maslow's hierarchy and we're worse when we're lower. And it is the hack to your culture to make sure that you are providing recognition that's connected to the value of the work that you do, because it ensures that you're going to build a culture where people are better people and there's more goodness and there's more altruism, there's more like hope, right? And is
there more motivation?
There's more motivation. There's more desire. There's more pursuit. Like me skating on the ice that day after Dale gave me praise, and the less recognition the more lower order behavior you see, the more you see scarce resources, the more you see fear, the more you see, I'm going to try to get one over on Bert, and hostility. That's why it matters.
I've got to protect myself.
I have to protect myself, right? It's massive.
Oh, yeah. And like, why am I even doing this? If my behavior that I'm going above and beyond isn't even being noticed, like,
right?
Because I almost think like the opposite of recognition is like being ignored. Like, so if my good behavior or gosh, my hard work is being ignored, why am I putting forth that effort? What's even the point?
And there's two sides of it too. There's like this very hard side of it, where what I find is that organizations that are really good at praise, connected to their purpose, values, and important ways of doing, they get better results. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. If you are really good at praise, what you're doing is you're teaching people what matters to you, and you're making it easier for people to get results. So there's the hard side of it, but then there's the maybe more soft side is, and I used to do this in Compass a lot. I would teach people how to give praise at companies that, I don't know, maybe they weren't so good at it. And then I would real time go, okay, Bert, you just learned how to give praise. Can you give someone in the classroom today some praise that maybe you haven't given them that deserves it? And then Bert would like give the praise. Sometimes people were not good at it at all. Other times though, people would like, given the opportunity, they would just smoke it. And then what I would do is I would ask all the other people, like, hey, Katie, you didn't get praise, but how did you feel as you heard Bert give Jenny praise? And every time people would say things like, there was no other place I wanted to be in that moment than hearing Bert talk about Jenny. Yeah. Or they would say things like, it was the best moment of my 2020 being able to hear Bert share Jenny's account. Like, it just takes your brain to this place of, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, it's more than just those two people.
This place matters to me. I don't want to be anywhere else right now. I'm here.
You said something in there that I have a follow-up question on. So you said it's important for a person to give praise as it pertains to X, Y, and Z in a company. The question is, how do you channel praise? How do you determine what should be recognized and what warrants praise?
I think to Bert's point, it's important that it's genuine. Like sometimes I will talk a little surgically about it because I'm trying to shape the culture. So I'm like getting a little
but not the delivery of it, but like what,
I see how I
should be praised.
I don't over-engineer it. Mm-hmm. What I love praising people on is whenever I see somebody doing a job, but I see them like really doing it well, like really to the best of their ability. This is like, I think I wrote a message on this to the company. This was like a month ago. I was on a morning run, 4:30 a.m. I hear this. I was jogging through the Roswell Crabapple area at the Starbucks that's on Arnold Mill. Yeah. And I hear a leaf blower at like 4:45. I'm like, where is that coming from? I look over and it's this barista at Starbucks that's blowing off this little dingy patio of leaves. And I was like, wow, it is 4:45 in the morning. I know that patio. It's by the dumpster. Nobody sits on it. It's going to be covered in leaves again in like an hour. But that barista is going to make sure that patio is clean. They're going to do their job to their fullest, best possible way before they open up their coffee shop at 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. So I emailed Brian Nickel, the CEO, to just tell them that was amazing. And then I told them that I went back there later that week, and I don't know who it was exactly, but I was like, who was blowing off the patio? And they were like, I don't know. So I saw it. And I just think that's amazing what you guys are doing, because I just know how easy it is to mail it in doing a job. Yes. I know how, we all know that. Anybody that's had a job knows how easy it is to just check that box and nobody will be any the wiser. Nobody would have cared. Nobody would have known that if that person didn't blow off that patio at 4:45 a.m. at the Roswell Starbucks. Nobody would have cared. But it mattered to them. It mattered to that person. This is their job. They're going to do it to their best. And I just love recognizing that. And so it's like in our own company or anywhere else, like it's good to like, you did this thing and that's one of the priorities, so I'll recognize you for that, fine. But it's more so for me is when I just see you doing your job to the absolute fullest, when I know that you don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked the question, what happens if you don't recognize?
Yes.
So let's talk about dose for a second, because this is fun. So the neurotransmitters that drive all human beings, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. This is like what makes the world go round, okay? Exactly. Dopamine is set goals and accomplish them. When I set a goal and I accomplish it, I get dopamine. Oxytocin is like the social bonding hormone. We have a good chat at a happy hour, we feel connected. You get oxytocin. or maybe you get a hug from like Abigail Adams, you get oxytocin, right?
Hypothetically.
Nice callback.
Serotonin.
If only.
Serotonin is like a lasting feeling. It's like true happiness. It's also connected to status. Okay, and we're talking about recognition. And then endorphins is like you go on a run, you do something scary, you eat some spicy food, you watch a scary movie, that rush, right? Well, interesting thing about praise, if done well, it checks all 4 boxes. It's dopamine. It's like, I accomplished something. Oxytocin, I'm connecting to the organization. Serotonin, my status is elevated. And I'm feeling a sense of permanence and a home here, belonging. And then endorphins, like the rush. So when you get praise, you get, it's a 4-banger.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
You get all
cool.
4.
God, that's some scientist stuff, guys. Only on Chat the Chief.
You get all.
It's amazing.
And by the way,
like I'm watching a podcast now. This is so cool.
But if done well, not only does Katie get all 4, who I'm praising, but actually I can create a lot of scenarios where everybody in the room is getting it.
Yeah.
So it's not just Katie. Everybody, right? I'm actually creating that feel in the room. And so this is a bit sciencey, but I think that there's something to that. Like in a group, you give me a group of people, and I've been through waves of that with that group. Something happens. Energy, connection, deepening of like trust. So that's why does praise matter? And why does it matter if you don't do it, you're just missing the opportunity to genuinely build people that can come together. And then, just like it's simple math. Imagine there's a group of people that have been through some waves of that dosing together. And then imagine there's a group that hasn't. Who's going to win?
Right.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's
the dosing group.
The dosing group. Every time. The microdose.
Beat me to the punch of.
I'm not advocating for that.
You beat me to the punch on a question, and I'm curious if you have any more color to add to it. But what is the difference between public praise or private praise and recognition versus raise or monetary rewards for good behavior or high performance? That certainly feels like the one seed. But do you guys see any other benefits of this type of recognition versus those?
Yeah, I mean, I think the raise and the money, for lack of a better term, the promotion does need to be there, or it rings hollow after a time, right? Because of course that's what makes a lot of it real. But it can't just be that.
Yeah.
If it's just only that, I do think you leave a lot on the table. You leave a lot of that dosing upside on the table.
I think it's a bit where people go wrong. Like I think people sometimes though think I can't praise unless I give the money or whatever. And I think there's like, and then there's the flip side.
Along the journey, like the destination can be that promotion.
And then the worst of this is like the cultures where like you can't praise someone unless you give them something, which I actually see a lot. And it's actually funny. Like this is like, it was a great lesson. I was in a Compass session with someone doing some teaching, and a guy had stayed up all night, missed his daughter's important dance meet because he saved something over the week. IT guy, like worked the whole weekend, came back on Monday, and he got like a kudos email with a $25 gift card to Subway.
Yeah,
and he was like,
that doesn't quite hit.
That's what my work was worth, is $5 footlongs. Like, right? And so like corporate recognition systems and kudos to you, Katie, and whatever. Yeah. Like he was genuinely upset about it years later in a session with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, so I think you just have to be careful. Like a lot of cultures will say.
That's a system. That's a system. That's a company that gets to be like, oh, we have these great systems. No, that's just
great intentions.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not real. It's not authentic. Right.
God, that's
that. I'll never forget that. I was like, ooh, because then people will do the thing where they're like, we can't give praise unless we're giving people a Starbucks gift card, right?
Yeah.
So,
Meanwhile, had you just taken that gift card off and made it meaningful, that would have stuck with it.
Can we talk a little bit about how to give it a little more specific?
Yeah, let's do it.
Bert, you're a master. Like, is there any things that you try to do? Like, you've mentioned the authenticity topic, but like, because let me color this. What I notice when people are giving praise is all of a sudden it's like platitude city. Like platitude is a word that we've said so often that it becomes meaningless. People start to just go to amazing and world class. They start to use all this language. You just have an unbreakable spirit, Katie. It's like, like, how do you do this well? Because I think people are.
Yeah. I mean, I using specifics. I love using specifics. Here's this thing that you did. Here's this thing I watched. Here's this thing I saw. I'll never forget. I probably shouldn't quite say this on the podcast because lots of people watch it. But we were doing this. There was this thing happening in the company with some outside investors that was going to maybe happen a few years ago. And one of our guys in finance, he just like really, I mean, all of us are working really hard to try to, get this thing done with this maybe potential new group of investors. And at the like 11th hour, just totally fell through. And I remember as I was sort of updating the team on this, and this is one of these moments you try not to miss. I saw the lead guy from finance that was involved in it, and I just was like, wow, I remember this guy has like killed himself on this thing, and has spent so much time on trying to like produce all the financials and all the decks and all the really true grunt work that needed to get done in order to help make this thing happen. And I was like, you better praise him, Bert. Don't miss it. And I used that moment right there to be like, and hey, man, I'm really sorry this didn't happen because I know what you put into this. And it was real and it was authentic. And and I'm so glad I caught myself to do it because I meant every word of it. But I like to think that meant a lot to that person because they did. They had committed so much of their time to it. And this was a thing that had like affected, a lot of people. But this person here just had given so much to it and just wound up kind of walking away with like nothing happening.
That changes the conversation at the dinner table that night from going home and sharing with his family. God, this fell through and I'm pissed off. That was all for nothing and nobody noticed and no one gave a damn about it to that's really frustrating. We all are bummed, but like I feel appreciated and I felt seen.
Yeah. And so in a way, I try to live, it's like, I mean, not to be overly dramatic, but it is like a dangerous thing you have, a dangerous responsibility you have as a leader to not miss those moments. I mean, it really is. And you got to be so on the edge of your brain thinking at all times. And you're going to miss them, by the way. You're going to miss them. By the way, you're going to like not praise people when you should all the time. And they're probably going to leave. And I'm going to do that more times than I get it right. And they're going to be pissed and Bert doesn't see me and recognize me and whatever. But you got to try to be on the front of your brain thinking at all times, am I about to miss something? Because if you can catch it and if you can give that right recognition, that I see you sort of moment, that's everything for that person. And it is your responsibility to do as a leader. For the leaders that don't think it's their responsibility or don't do it, they are so lazy. They are so arrogant. They do not deserve to be leaders. They don't deserve to be leading anybody. They're just cowards, really.
It's my favorite thing about our culture is that it's such an expectation to catch people doing the right thing. It's such an expectation of our culture.
The opposite of witch hunt.
Catch people doing the right thing first, because then it just puts so much equity in your relationships that if you need to be hard on somebody, it's the easiest thing ever.
Yep.
Like if you're not catching people that are doing the right thing, giving praise, it's pretty hard to have a hard conversation. Yeah. But if I give you so much praise and I build you up, Katie, or whatever, I can come tomorrow and be like, Kate, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come on.
Hold me accountable.
It's so easy.
I already know your answer to this, Steve, but Bert, is there a moment in your career where you received recognition that had a lasting impact on you?
Yeah, I remember I was a new account manager in Atlanta, and my sales manager at the time was Robin Mask, actually. One of the first sales managers at the company after our CEO, Glenn, stopped being like every role in the company and just became CEO. He was the founder. Promoted Robin. She was my boss. And I remember just doing my job and working as hard as I could. I wasn't wildly successful or anything, but I felt like I was trying to be great. I was trying to check all the boxes. I was trying to do all the right things, and I was just fully heads down. And I remember she sent an email to me and the whole sales team just saying, hey, you are doing amazing. You are setting the bar. You just could not be more impressed with sort of the start I was having in sales. And I was like, I think it made me cry. I was like, you notice me? Like, I'm just a nothing. I'm a nobody. And that's like unbelievable. And Robin was like, cool. She still is. She's so just a cool cool lady. And not only did you get recognized, but I got recognized by Robin.
Yeah.
Like Robin thought I was something. It's even more of a burden. Like if you're a leader, it's your burden to make sure you don't miss those moments. But if you're a cool leader, you really can't miss. Like because that carries so much weight.
So much weight.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve, we know your 12-year-old
Dale Rominski. My guy.
But do you have a good work one?
I have a lot. Actually, I have a good job Steve folder in my email that I look at from time to time with like praise going back to like the Glenn Johnson days. I think the just like praise that's meant the most to you in your career.
Yeah.
I think being a Titan. Like I think that day is like
wait, let's talk about that.
I'll remember that day like for the rest of my life. And it's like one of those like your life flashes for your eyes because like the design of a Titan Award given to people who most embody our shared values. It's like we just it's like praise day.
Before
Go
you
ahead.
explain that, it's good to set the premise. So for those of you who aren't aware, so the Titan Award is the award that's given out, and you started this 5 years ago. 2021, 4 years ago?
No, I announced it at the 2019 conference.
Okay. So, before COVID.
Yeah. And I think our first trip was supposed to be COVID. It was COVID.
That's right.
So then our first trip was 21.
That's
but
right.
we had a Titan class in 2020.
Yeah. Got it. So the reason why I love this particular award is that it's so unique to our company. I think that a lot of companies have the contest trip, which is the President's Award, the top performers. And so while that's special and that shouldn't be dismissed, that's not that unique. I think a lot of companies, okay, here's the expectation for how you can deliver revenue-related results for the company. And if you achieve that, we're going to celebrate you. We're going to go out there and have a great time on whatever said beach. But this one I love because it's public recognition. You celebrate people for living out our shared values. And so with that is not just the trip, but I think more importantly is probably what you're about to speak to, which is the moment at which you're celebrated as a Titan.
Yep.
We only pick 50 a year, and these are actually 2 of our Titans. I mean, in the company, we only have 250 now named Titans, and you guys are 2 of them. Of 5,000 people, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we should think about this a little bit because it's kind of interesting.
Well, it's funny what you said, Steve, earlier when you were talking about how if you do it well, when you're recognizing somebody, for people that are watching it, that they're like, this is the only place that they want to be. And I've had the chance to watch a lot of Titan awards and a lot of Titan, like moments where the Titan selection committee comes in and they surprise the person, but like everybody's in on it who's like recognizing who nominated this person to be Titan. And then they spend like an hour, everybody says something really nice about this person. And that's why I always think like there's nowhere else I need to be right now than just watching this. And it's just like, everybody's crying. Yeah. Oprah's crying. That's just amazing. Yeah.
But it's literally like where your brain is when you're watching your favorite show or movie and you're so like it's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Where your brain is there, it's the same place as your brain is when an amazing story is being told connected to praise. So yeah, mine is is the Titan moment. And we should think about this because it's fascinating. I don't think there's any results-oriented thing that you could get praise for that would even come anywhere close. So like talent services has grown a lot in the last 2 years, which is the group I lead. It went from like 62 million to like 280 million. If that got praised like on a big stage like Titan, I don't know. It'd be like, yeah, great. That's awesome. Cool. Like, but I didn't do that. There's something about like being praised for how you got there and like the values of the story that I don't know. It just, I'll remember that day for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
And Katie, yours was epic, by the way. Katie was given Titan a couple months after I was, and it was just that year's might be the best Titan.
My gosh.
I don't even know what we call it.
It was an incredible
I've ever heard.
experience. The way I described it was, I felt like I was just witnessing my own funeral. Like everybody's just saying like the most beautiful things, and you're like, but I'm here. I know about it. It's so awesome. It's the best feeling of all time. When was the moment that you realized that you wanted to make that a thing?
It was 2019. And I just, it's funny when you create these values, these shared values that we have, they're like these annoying things that hold you accountable. And I remember everyone matters. Everyone matters was like staring at me. Yeah. I was like, I know everyone matters, but like, because our sales contest trip it's for kind of really for the field, right? It's for our account managers, our professional recruiters, our sales leadership. it's not for everyone. And you could, and like, okay, fine. Like there's lots of companies, most companies that have sales teams, they have contest trips that just the salespeople can go on. But I thought it would be so cool to have something that everybody could partake in. And this was the same year that we had rolled out our shared values. And I was completely obsessed with making sure that our shared values were real and didn't fade away and didn't become just words on a wall and empty and that sort of thing. And so we did create a lot of systems in the business with how we train and how we hire and how we promote people through that lens of the shared values. But I thought having a contest trip where you could only win it, and anybody in the company could win it, but you could only win it if you were nominated by enough people in the company that said that, yeah, we think that you live out all 5 of our shared values. And it was really cool to see all the different types of people that have won it from all corners of the company. And it'd be fun to send them to Hawaii. So that's what we did. And we just changed the destination. This year we're going to be going to Costa Rica, which is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, and it's not like it's an expense, and it's a nice trip for 50 people and they're +1, but it's not like it breaks the bank of the company, right? I mean, we're a $4.8 billion company in revenue. Like we can afford to do a trip where we send 50 people who most embody our shared values to Hawaii. We can afford that. And I think a lot of companies can, whether they choose to do it or not is probably another matter. But yeah, it's just one more way that we try to recognize people.
Yeah, but you chose it, which means you decided I'm going to make this important, and these words are going to be more than just words on a wall. And this is one way in which I'm going to ensure that happens, which I think is just incredible. Okay, so shall we wrap it up? Is there anybody that we should end with like strong public praise in the podcast format?
Let's go. I would like to hear, I'd like to hear you first.
Yeah, you want to start?
Is there somebody that you are thinking about?
Yeah, I definitely have someone. I will say Krista Kolb is a person that I would praise. She is actually my new leader. And I have been on the same team as her, so almost a peer-to-peer for the last year. And I did not know her well until the last year. You've actually known her very, very well. And I am just so impressed and eager to learn from this woman. I start the new job on January 1st, and I've never seen somebody be so eager to dive into problems. We talked, about taking action and have a bias for action, to roll up her sleeves. And I'm excited to work for a person that's like that. And so, yeah, I'd like to praise her because she's taking a chance on me, and I'm excited to learn from her and be led by somebody like that. So she's mine.
Love it. Steve.
Mine is Scott Cornick. Yeah, the journey that I described earlier on talent services just wouldn't have been possible without Scott. And he's someone who I've just watched grow an insane amount. I actually got to watch him present to you in a meeting this week with our whole executive team present. He just did such a fantastic job, and he's just such a cool example of how much we can grow. Because the Scott I met the first day I went to talent services versus the guy that presented, he's grown so much. And actually, Scott interviewed to be my backfill. I've changed roles, went to another position, and he didn't get it. And I think it's hard sometimes when that happens to you to not think oh man, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. It's hard to not let that hit your identity. But Scott he's just done such a good job of staying focused on the company's purpose, and he's kind of moved around that. He has this huge goal for our company next year. He's doing an incredible job of leading it.
100 teams.
And 150 custom teams.
Is that the internal goal?
I think that might become the goal. But
wow.
But yeah, Scott is just Scott is the type of guy who is he is so loyal. He's so hardworking. And you go talk to any person on his team, he is 100% of the time making them feel seen and in the boat with them, and just an amazing dude.
Wow,
So
I got to spend more time with him.
yeah,
I love that.
very proud of him.
Yeah, mine is it's so hard to see your CEO. There's who to praise. So many people, but honestly, who I would love to praise and give recognition to is Julie Kay.
Let's go, Julie.
She's my executive assistant. No.
Can we bring her in?
She'll see it. But Julie's my executive assistant. She is just really unbelievable. I've never been an EA for a CEO before, but I think that's a hard job because I mean, believe it or not, I'm not always the most friendly in the mornings. I'm a little focused. I'm a little locked in. And Julie is just amazing at being involved and not being involved, and being present and not being present. And just like, sometimes I feel like she's like a mist. I don't even know she's here and she's there and she's not. And it's just, she's so helpful. She takes care of all my travel, all my meetings. She anticipates my needs like nobody's business. I mean, she is just unbelievable. I couldn't have a better EA, and it was such a joy that I get to work with her.
Oh, what a good note to end on. Such good gratitude. Well, I love you guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Hello and welcome to the Chat the Chief section. This is actually going to be really good.
Oh, great.
I'm very excited.
Great.
Okay, so
I don't see these questions. I don't know what they are.
Right.
I know, I'm excited.
These are blind.
So this is an interactive
Blind.
one.
Yeah,
This is going to require you have your phone.
I do.
Okay. Have you done the Spotify Wrapped yet?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
What?
So we're going to figure out what your listening age is,
Wow. Okay.
which means based on the primary age, or I guess decade of the music that you've listened to through the course of the
So
year.
go to Spotify.
Like, go to Spotify.
I'm on Spotify.
Okay. Scroll.
I'm not good with some of the app stuff. Yeah. It's a lot of podcasts. I don't even hardly listen to music.
Oh no, we might have to get some assistance. Executive
So I don't have any.
producer, update audience. Bert is not a Spotify guy, but apparently Apple is really hot on the trail of Spotify, and they're doing their own version of the Wraps. So give it.
Okay, now I will say I don't want to make excuses.
But he's going to.
But my daughter Lucy likes to listen to a lot of songs in the car, and so I play them. And so that's jumbled up in this.
I understand.
Because she's 10.
Frozen's my number 2.
Okay, got it.
So
okay.
this is
So top artists, 597 total artists. Number 1, oh gosh, so don't judge me. This guy, he's a good songwriter. I'm sorry, I think he's not very nice to people sometimes, but it is Zach Bryan.
Yeah, he's
Zach Bryan.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, 2,870 minutes.
Yeah.
2,200 is Morgan Wallen. I really have liked that new album.
He makes
He
everything he does is
He does,
so
yeah.
good.
Elevation Worship is number 3. Taylor Swift is number 4.
Whoa.
Yeah, nice callback to
I know.
It sounds like like it.
And then number 5 is George Strait.
Okay.
So that's a pretty
I think that's great.
well-rounded.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Cool. Yes.
Top songs. I Got Better. I love that Morgan Wallen song. I Got Better.
I don't know it.
It's
I haven't gotten
it's
on the
really good.
train yet.
Now this is where things fall off a little bit. In my top 5 is K-pop Demon Hunters. Number 2 is How It's Done. I don't even know that song. Number 3 is Dear Miss, Zach Bryan. Number 4 is I'm a Little Crazy, Morgan Wallen. And number 5 again is K-pop Demon Hunters, Golden. No.
Okay, the headline should be that 3 out of Bert's top 5 listened to songs are from K-pop and have no clarification.
No, yeah, I don't know. That's what it is.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay.
Good little glimpse.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Being vulnerable with us.
Yes.
I appreciate
I was
that.
happy to.
Steve, you got a question for him?
Yeah, last question. What are you most excited about for 2026?
Wow. I mean, that is a soul searcher on the spot. Company-wise, you would say, keep it to company?
Personally, professionally, whatever you got.
I'll tell you what I'm most sad about is our old daughter Ellie goes to college, and I'm not at all excited about that. I'm not happy for her there. I want her to live at home and not go to college and just stay home and make all of her own clothes. That's what I would like. But she will be leaving us, which is so sad. So that's it. That's tricky. But I'm really excited for just all the stuff that we have going on in the company. There's so many young leaders that are coming into their own right now all across the company. It's really cool. I wish I knew all of them. I don't know all of them. It keeps me up at night that there's all these amazing leaders that are doing amazing things in offices and all parts of the company. And they've been through some hard years in the industry, but they're still standing, and now they've got really cool scars to show for it. And with any luck, we may get a little bit of a pickup in the economy next year. And it's going to be cool to see how those people flex with all the experience that they have now. I'm really excited with the stuff that we're doing in AI, particularly with professional services, how we're starting to build and sell agents to customers. I love all the stuff that we're doing internationally, how we're building up more global capability centers for more of our customers. We definitely have moved beyond staffing into more of a true professional services mode as a company. And it's just real cool seeing another year and another group of several thousand people that get that much smarter at learning how to sell and deliver on what this company has to offer. So it's fun. It's like every year feels like it's like we're in startup mode again. Every year you're like, man, I can't believe we just figured this out. And that I feel like that happens every year. So yeah, was a great growth year for this year. I think next year is going to be even bigger.
Well, congratulations on an amazing year.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Cool.
Great, guys. Had a lot of fun with you. Until next season.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.